Hey, what's up, universe? It's 11:50 a.m. on Saturday, May 27th, 2023. Um, this always seems to happen, so I appreciate the time and the space again, where I'm like, oh yeah, there's this point in this thing that I meant to mention in my previous video. So I wanted to speak to part of my process around the surrender and the trust about attracting what's meant for me. So I've declined a few opportunities, and as I'm reviewing the opportunities that are out there, primarily on LinkedIn. I was thinking about this earlier when I was applying for a few different roles, and how it felt in my body as I was reviewing these roles. What feelings were inside of me as I was reviewing the role? Was I feeling anxiety? Was I approaching the reviewing of these roles from a place of lack? And I want to call out the language that I'm using too. Even in my previous video, I said my creative, contributing my creative expression, not the job I'm going to go work. And this ties into some work that I did a couple of years ago now, a couple of summers ago in 2021, where I really started to evaluate, my money story. And I found out through that just contemplation that, and it took me a while to arrive to this, so I'm mentioning it in case it resonates with you. I've always been good with money, to tell you the truth, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it maybe over the last 20 years, or maybe a little bit longer, basically since I've started honoring my truth and practicing honoring my truth. As a child, I was always really good. I was actually my middle sister's bank, I'd count my money, I would play with it, I loved it, and I still do. I mean, anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that through this contemplation a couple of summers ago, it wasn't my relationship to money, it was the relationship to my vehicle of attracting money, or the avenue, and my relationship to that. And because in my mind, again reflecting on the language I was using, an IT guy is what I used to call myself and refer myself to as, and how that felt to me and what that meant to me in my mind, and the image that had for myself didn't attract the kind of opportunities that were satisfying for me, and didn't represent anything like where I'm at right now. And so I started to realize that it wasn't my relationship to money as much as it was my relationship to the vehicle, or the avenue, or avenues in which money came to me, and the way that I attracted that to me, the way that I facilitated that. And then also it took me some time to change my language around, and my relationship to my work. For the longest time, I didn't see myself as a creative, and now honestly I see us all as creatives, and that's a whole different philosophical discussion. But mentally, what I'm getting at is that the language that I used and the way that felt in my body, that changed. And that, again, going into attracting things and being in alignment and just a vibratory state, just the vibration of things. So I really just started to connect with I'm a creative. And then contribution, what am I bringing back to the now? What am I contributing to right now, regardless of the context, right? Regardless if it's in a professional environment, or in a client type of work, that type of thing. Either way, it's a contribution. And so I just started languaging it that way because of how that feels. And what does that conjure up in my mind as far as the imagery? And to me, that sorry, just feels so much more, empowering and enjoyable. That's the life that I would like to experience. And so that's how I work to align myself with that, just to kind of illustrate it. And just on the funny side, this experience, I don't know if you have seen American Beauty, the movie American Beauty. The main actor is Kevin Spacey, and his character is Lester Burnham. And there's just some things that I'm like, I can totally resonate. This resonates with me. One of my favorite lines is how Lester left his job, and there's this heated conversation between him and his wife, and he's like, I didn't lose my job. It's not like, oh, where'd my job go? It's just about how this character is learning to reconnect with his truths, regardless of what they are, and it's just an interesting show of that. And so it just I just wanted to mention that because it's just an interesting illustration of honoring the truth and attracting what's meant for us, and how, I don't know, there's no good or bad, there just is. And learning, just like through that trigger, even, like that wasn't good nor bad. It was something that I needed to experience to learn what I learned, So anyhow, I think those are the things that I meant to mention. Thank you for allowing me the space again. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for everything. Thank you for our relationship. Yeah, thank you very much. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.